All right, so we're in day, like 3 or 4 of the action in Los Angeles, California. A little bit of backstory. So we know ICE was going around all over the United States, and they had a quota that came down from the top from Stephen Miller, who's really a Nazi. Let's not be nice to that guy. He's not a nice guy. And then Tom Homan with Homeland Security pushes out the orders to ICE. It's not normal for these guys to have like a quota system. Like the way it worked, like if you were actually going after violent criminals, you would have done it the way that Democrats have done that in the past, like Obama and Biden, who gave people due process. They had their hearings. They followed the legal pathway. If people were guilty of crimes, they got deported to their home countries, and the home countries don't really take issue with that if there is due process. The way this regime is doing it, it's fully illegal. Like they're just kind of snatching up brown people. Many United States citizens have been nabbed up in this process, and the recent instances came from Stephen Miller saying we need to 5x the number of people that are being kidnapped and renditioned. They'll say, deported daily. And they have this, they try to do this rapid system, like within 24 hours, once they get you, they bypass the courts, and then they drop you in some foreign territory. Within a day, they're in like Mexico City or something, which is not legal. It violates US law. It violates international law. They've tried to do this under the Alien Enemies Act. Multiple judges have struck that down, including the Supreme Court. It's not legal, and they're just doing it anyway. And a few days ago, I think it was like 3 or 4 days ago now, in Paramount, California, they were going into places like Home Depots. They were picking up parents at their elementary school kids' graduations and snatching them up. And then at the Home Depots and I think some other workplaces, they picked up a whole bunch of people. And like they're like innocent people. Like somehow there was like a judicial order, and I'm not even sure if that was like a judicial order, or if that's one of those like administrative orders. If a judge actually signed off on this, like the judge is violating the law. Like they can't just give them permission to grab anybody. Like that's not how this stuff works. Like you have to be accused of something. There has to be some sort of an indictment against you, or like final removal order or something. I don't know. I'm not a legal expert, but as this has been explained to me by people that do have legal training, they're saying this stuff is all illegal. So that's what sparked this off. Stephen Miller, Tom Homan, ICE is engaging in unlawful actions. They're being extraordinarily violent. All of this is extremely expensive and unlawful and unconstitutional, and it's pissed off the locals. So like you have this in Paramount, California, and you have this in LA, and they arrested and roughed up the union leader of the SEIU, which that's a big mistake. And then following that, now you have Trump ordering 2,000 California Guard troops under Title 10, which he can't, apparently he can use them, but they can't be doing the stuff that ICE was doing, or even the LAPD was doing. Like, they can maintain order, but they're not really allowed to do anything else. If they use them for the stuff that the LAPD is doing and ICE is doing, which all of that's illegal, and they're not going to be covered under immunity. And apparently they had like the troops like sleeping on the floor somewhere. There's some hotel that they had ICE staying in. They kicked ICE out. So it's like all this stuff, and the people were pissed off, and they were largely peacefully protesting. They send in the guard, and then like Trump against he didn't include Gavin Newsom in this at all. And under Title 10, you have to work with the governor under it should be under the governor's request. So that didn't happen. And Gavin Newsom condemned it, and he just sued the Trump regime today, I think this morning. And he condemned all this stuff, and that was signed off on by like 20 or 28 governors around the United States from blue states. So I'm really proud of my California people down in Southern California for standing up and putting their neck on the line, because who the hell knows what's going to happen. I've seen some crazy videos of the police shooting people, sometimes in the head with these like rubber bullets. More than one reporter has gotten shot with non-lethals, and it was like clear they're reporters. Like, that's a war crime. You can't do that. So I see all this as a, like, Trump is basically promising, like the Title 10 thing that Trump wrote, the memorandum activating the troops against the California Guard, against Gavin Newsom's, like, Gavin Newsom wasn't involved, and he has said this is not necessary. And even Trump basically admitted that it wasn't necessary, because before the Guard was even down in Southern California, Trump is like tweeting that, you know, thank you for your help getting things under control, before the Guard even got there. So everybody on the ground, like the governor and the mayor in California, has said, like, things are under control. This is totally not necessary, and it's going to only inflame things. And then Pete Hegseth goes off and says that he's going to send in the Marines, and apparently the Marines have arrived. And again, that's not legal. There's no authority that grants them to do this on our soil against American citizens. And the right wing is just full on in lie mode and trying to say that there's violence and there's out of control shit. I've seen at least a handful of videos that look staged as hell, where you have like a bunch of like Waymo cars in a line, staggered, on fire, with people carrying, I think, like the Mexican flag or the Palestinian flag. Like, I don't buy any of that stuff. Like, we tend to see outside agitators getting involved in these kind of things, and I don't think it's paranoid to say I think those are kind of a false flag, because the right wing is desperate to have any excuse whatsoever for there to be a serious crackdown on the protesters, on the immigrants. And again, like, I thank Kyle Kulinski from Secular Talk for like bringing up this statistic about who actually does the crime and how many people have been detained so far by the Trump administration. So get this, right? It is estimated that at most, for people that are not documented properly here, it's about 10,000 people that engage in crimes. The rest, it's not the case at all. So with that in mind, they have kidnapped, detained, and renditioned, or, you know, housed somewhere in the United States, of 100,000 people so far this year, which I think is way below the numbers that they had said that they're going to do by this point. Like, I think they were trying to get like 20 or 25 million people for whatever reason. Like, they keep making this claim that like Biden brought in that many people, and like I don't know how many people Biden brought in, but I don't think what he did was illegal. Like, he would have had to do it through Congress, so Congress would have had to approve that. It's probably asylum for stuff going on in Haiti and other places because of bad U.S. policy. That stuff's our fault. So even if it's 10,000 people that have committed crimes, many of those were already being charged, like, go through the legal process under Biden. So there's probably some leftovers there. And like, if they got anybody, they may have done it in illegal ways, which, if that stuff gets addressed, we're going to have to basically pay 2 or 3 times for those same people, because for each person that is getting snatched, kidnapped, and renditioned by ICE, they're spending something like $500,000 per person, which is completely insane and completely unnecessary. And they're grabbing people up when they're doing, like, they're going to their ICE check-ins. They're snatching them up there. When they're going to their immigration appointments, the judges, you know, dismiss their case and they're free to go, meaning they're allowed to be, you know, here in America, going through the rest of the immigration process, and they're getting snatched up. So, like, it's not even true that the Republicans want them to go through the legal process, because that's not even enough. When they're going to work like you do in order to live, because of our disgusting system makes it so difficult. It's such a long process, and it basically makes you barely legal in the country because of the restrictions. So it forces you to, like, work under the table so you can survive. Like, the way our system works, it's only for wealthy people that have people that can sponsor them, or, you know, they're on, like, I don't know, like, a lot of people just don't understand our legal immigration system. It's not easy. It's overly complicated. It's overly bureaucratic. It's expensive. It's not at all really for people that don't really have money. And it's not for people that don't come from wealth. And it's a long process. It takes 5, 10 to 25 years for you to be able to do it the legal way. But they're snatching these people up when they're at work. They're going to like Home Depot to pick up work so they can work under the table because their status is like kind of an open question. And that's not their fault. That's our fault for making the system so fucking complicated. It's our fault for creating conditions all over the world that make places inhospitable, whether it's due to climate change, whether it's due to U.S. foreign policy that destabilizes nations. We've made the drug war worse. We've helped, the cartels get weaponry on a consistent basis. And our own CIA and FBI, like our CIA has been involved in all sorts of shenanigans that are kind of engaging in crime. To do what? Like sting operations, and not all of it's like fully above board. Like there are problems in government, but I would argue a lot of it's because of corruption, especially in the Republican side. So mad props to the people down in California standing up, peacefully protesting. Everybody should be continuing to resist. Make sure you're getting on nokings.org to find out where and when the next protests are. Please show up. Show up with your American flags. The one thing I do want to note is I see people with like Palestinian flags, Mexican flags, their keffiyehs and all that stuff. I love you guys. I really do. But I think right now we need to show America, especially these paranoid assholes that like can't be spoken to. We need to show them what Americans are people that stand up and fight for fucking everybody and leave nobody out, and we don't stand for injustice ever. So we should be showing up with our American flags. I don't have one right now. I'm going to get one for when I go to the No Kings Action Day on June 14th, when, the Mr. Marmalade Man is going to be having his little, imitation of North Korea with his birthday parade, which is just, it's really freaking gross because that day is not supposed to be about him. I know everybody's got their own freaking birthday, but like this is supposed to be for the soldiers, not for him. And we don't do this shit. Like they're about to tear up the streets in Washington, D.C. and some people are worried that he might do some other stuff that's really nefarious. And he has promised to send military in all cities all over the United States, especially blue cities, because he's saying that we're being unlawful because we're responding to ICE's unlawful behavior, and we got like some of the local police engaging in brutality towards people. Somebody got stomped with by one of the horses. At least 2 reporters got shot by the police with non-lethal, like the rubber bullets and stuff. They're using tear gas here on our soil. They're using like these pepper bullets here on American soil. They're attacking people that are responding with their First Amendment right to address their grievances with their government, who is doing unlawful, illegal shit. Like lots of people are getting snatched up, including a union leader. Are you kidding me? They're threatening to arrest Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, and they're threatening to arrest Gavin Newsom. And when asked what's he done to deserve arrest, and he said, run for governor. Like, are you serious? That's so absurd. So yeah, I'm like watching Vosh and Hassan Piker's stream of being down there on the 101, where they got traffic all backed up at the moment, and it's fun because they're standing up and they're saying hell no, and people are very supportive of people being Americans, being patriotic Americans, and standing up and saying hell no to fascism. And these people, this Republican regime, this fascist regime, should be removed. They are incredibly corrupt. They have committed like crimes by the hour, unconstitutional actions by the hour since he became president again. Like he's committing crimes in the open. That doesn't mean that they're not crimes. It just means that that side apparently doesn't give a damn about law and order when it's their side breaking the law. They don't give a damn about the Constitution when it's their side breaking the law, violating the Constitution. They don't give a damn about freedom of speech when it's us addressing things that they're doing that are completely illegal and unconstitutional. And they're violations of human rights and violations of human dignity. They cannot do this stuff, and we are going to resist, and I will continue to resist. I'll be putting out content. I'm going to be showing up. I'm going to be resisting peacefully. and so should you. And then if you see any agitators, make sure you document them, make sure you report them. We do not tolerate people that are going to put other people at risk. We cannot have people engaged in violence. We cannot give them any reason to use martial law. That's basically how Hitler took the rest of the powers that he was after. We cannot give that to them. We can't. We have plenty of legal standards and statutes on our side as long as we remain peaceful. We're allowed to disrupt. We are allowed to say, hell no, that's not okay. We are allowed to say, fuck you to these people, including to the police. But if they're trying to get you to disperse, that's cool. Disperse and then go to another spot and then wait for them to move. And then you move again. Be annoying. I took that one from Bosch. That was his tip. But there are ways to do this. Get with some of the old school folks who have tested since like the 70s. They know what's up. We got to have solidarity with our people here and around the world. We can't get violent because violence will basically take some folks that were sitting on the sidelines that might jump in with us if we stay peaceful. And they might jump in against us if we're engaging in violence too. Let it be a one-sided affair. I know it doesn't seem right, but they have to keep looking like the bad guy because they are the bad guy. We can't be the bad guy too. We got to keep saying like violence is wrong. We can't say violence is wrong if we're engaging in violence. And I know some people are taking like a lot more hits than others, and I fully understand that, and I get your frustration. But getting violent back is going to get people killed, and you do not want that on your conscience, okay? You guys take care of yourselves, stay safe out there, and stay in the fight, okay? Peacefully resist. We can do this. I see what they're doing as a major sign of weakness. Trump is weak. That was my chant in my other video, and I will repeat it again. Trump is weak. Stephen Miller is a weak little bitch. Nosferatu-looking MFer. Pete Hegseth is a drunk and weak. Tom Homan is a thumb and weak. What's her other name? Kristi Noem, also dumb and weak. Not that I have anything against women. She's just very dumb. What is it about Republican women that are in the Republican Party? They're just not the brightest bulbs, really. Anywho, I have a lot of respect for women, just not the Republican women. All right, guys. You guys take care of yourselves. I love you. I will put out some content probably tomorrow. All right, take care. Bye.